Yo, this is Estereos Unidos. Just kidding, guys. If you guys are not familiar with that, that is my buddy DJ Alezay, who is right in front of me. That's actually his show. I wanted to say that. That's why I did like a little re-record real fast. And actually, bro, before you can even say anything, like I said, I had some words for you, and I wanted to get this out before you could even like get an inch in. And I just want to say that, dude, like I really do love your show, and it was just a perfect thing for me the other day, especially because it was, yeah, matter of fact, it was yesterday, so it was like all day Sunday I was listening to like nothing but your episodes. And the reason being was because Saturday I did a holiday party, and it was like a 4-hour gig, and I was just kind of going through the motions, like just playing all this stuff that I usually play. And then in the morning I hit the gym, and I was looking for something different. I was like, what can I play that's different? I don't want to hear the same shit. I really don't. And I put somebody's mix on, and I won't say who, but it was a lot of bunch like EDM remixes, and it was just like too much for me, and it wasn't what I was looking for, right? And so then I really started like rack my brain, like, who do I know that does something different? And then I was like, oh, I know exactly who does something different. And I put on one of your episodes, bro. And then, like I said, I just ended up like, I don't even know. I listened to probably like 3 yesterday. I listened to like, I think 2 this morning. Like one, like right before. And I cut it off because I didn't want to be like, I don't know, a cheese ball. But I was listening to it like right before I picked you up. But I wanted to say that, bro. Like, I really do have like the utmost respect for that. And I've already like talked about it on my Instagram and stuff like that. And this is definitely like, I know we'll create more awareness with it. But man, it's a fucking awesome podcast. I love it. I love listening to that. And like I said, what a relief, like, to have something different. You know what I mean? Like something that just and it has stuff that I'm familiar with, but in a different way completely. And that's exactly what I needed.
I honestly, I totally appreciate that from like everything from my soul, because when I first started this, I had no idea where it was going. But when I get feedback, and I get a feedback loop where people are telling me that they listen to it, they enjoy it, whatever it is that they do, it just makes it seem like I feel like I'm really doing something for a purpose.
And dude, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like I slept on it because I met you a while ago, and you told me
before we
about
met,
it.
actually, I wasn't doing it yet.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait. So before me. Okay.
Yeah. So I just started this January of last year.
Okay.
It was like my New Year's resolution.
Oh man, I don't even know when we met then. Like time frame wise.
Like a month or 2 right before I started.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. But even then, like, you had been doing it for a while, and I didn't I didn't really like take, not that I didn't take interest to it, but I didn't, for whatever reason, I just didn't really like get into it, or
I mean, there's so much abundance of music out there with digital, the way we consume music is a lot different than before.
Right.
So with so much out there, I feel like, my stuff could get a little lost in the sauce, trying to find new things.
Yeah. And, like it's just that whole, you meet so many people every time you go out, and, everybody has their own thing, but you never know like really what someone's got going until you kind of like take a little dip in. And I don't know what was kind of like the thing that got me into you, like, was initially like, let me check this out, I don't know what it was, but for whatever reason, I'm so glad I did, and then once I did that one like episode, that's when I did like, I binged like 5 or 10, and then I think one of the times, like when I did that binge, is when I shouted you out. I was like, yo, like, you guys are sleeping if you're not like on this. And I was completely sleeping. And I do want to go into that, but let's start from the top. Just but I wanted to say that, bro. Like I said, like, this whole time we've been, so for those of you guys who do not know, like, we've been hanging out kind of all day, and we've been talking a lot. And it's funny, as much as we've been talking, we still like are gonna do this, and I'm sure we're gonna talk just as much. And that was a big part where we were talking, and I had that like bottled up in me like this whole time. And I was like, I was like, yo, I got some words for you. And
We spent like 5 hours together already.
oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. But yeah. So like, I was already telling him like, yo, I got some words for you, and like I said, I had that saved up, and yeah, I really wanted to say that. But
Thank you. It really means a lot to me. Like the fact that, you express, because you could just have that in your own thought, right? And just say, I like this guy. But the fact that you told me really means a lot to me.
oh yeah, man. Like I'm huge, and anyone who's familiar with the podcast knows that I'm always huge on like giving credit. I think that that's so important, and giving credit when credit is due, because a number of things, one of them being, especially since we do this stuff kind of like out of the passion that we want to do it, that sometimes, if for whatever reason you kind of get lost in that, then you might stop because if you never hear anything.
Yeah.
It's not to say that we need it, we're needy, but it is nice to be appreciated. And it's nice to know that like someone is listening, or someone, you're making an impact or whatever, like that. Like you can have your own self drive, and maybe some people, I don't know, but some people maybe might be enough, but it definitely doesn't hurt when someone like is like, hey, like, you're doing it, like keep doing it. I appreciate you doing that. And I think, as a creator, as we both are, like I said, I can truly appreciate that. And I know that whenever I receive anything, I know that means a lot to me. So, and it feels great. And it's like, why not give that out? Like I said, if I feel like if it's deserving, like I'm not out there kissing ass like everybody, like, oh yeah, you guys are fucking the shit, and I love everything you do. I love everything about you. Like, I'm not gonna do that, bro. And I rarely even say like, I use the word like love sparingly, like I won't say that a lot. But if I do feel that way, then I'll definitely express it. And like, I do love the podcast for sure, bro. Like I mean
thank you.
that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about the mix a little bit. Like how did that go?
It's really essentially what I do every single week.
Mm-hmm.
I know you usually ask, come with whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
And this is what I do every week in and week out. I look for songs that make me feel good.
Yeah.
That I want to share and make other people feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of came in with, that. And I know like your kind of like musical taste. So I was like, cool, let me play this for Wally, like what he might like to hear, but with my touch.
Yeah. That was tight, man. I appreciate that. And yeah, that is cool. And that's why I know you guys can't hear the audio that between him and I when the session's actually going, when you're mixing, but we touched on it really quick, right? When like you're like you said that. You said, oh, it's kind of funny that I'm doing this when like your guests usually do stuff that they don't get to do.
Right.
And yet I'm doing something that I always do.
Mm-hmm.
But I told him, I was like, but that's because you're free. Like, and I mean that like for anyone who's listening, like he has that freedom to really just be him. And like, that's, it's a double-edged sword, I'm sure, because like, with complete
mm-hmm.
freedom comes, like if you're you to your core and you're always that, then that means that everybody has to be on board with you.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't be like kind of like 50-50, because if they're afraid of you not doing the right thing at like their event,
mm-hmm.
they can't manage you. Like in essence, you get what I'm saying? Like if it's a corporate gig and they know you just do you,
mm-hmm.
then they have to be cool with that because that's what you do. And if they're not, then they can't try to hire you and then try to like, manage you. Like I said, again, and this is all like in essence, I'm not
Which
saying
is
that,
fine,
I'm not saying that you can't fucking stray from yourself, but I'm just saying like, if that's true to its T, like if you're 100% you, then you can't. And that's why I told him, I was like, it's because in part, like you're free and we're kind of slaves to it. And it's not, I don't mean that with like a negative connotation or anything like that. I just mean that in the sense that, until we build our name specifically and people are buying tickets to go see DJ Wally
mm-hmm.
and whoever he decides to have on, and he's playing whatever the fuck he wants, until that day, then I'm I'm a hand for hire, and I have to cater to whoever my client is, you know, whether it's an owner, whether it's just like a fucking, I don't know, a bride and groom.
Any private event.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, actually, it's funny that you say that. Like, I come from that, right? I used to like do a weekly bar back in San Jose, but on my spare time, you know, I would look for other music that I liked, but I could never play out. And I just had so much of this music that I could never play.
Right.
It got to a point where like, well, what am I going to do with this music? Like, I can't play that anywhere. So I started doing my radio show.
It's kind of tight that you say that too, because I have a buddy of mine who we kind of had that conversation where, and I don't know if he like looked at it too in depth, but I definitely did, because, you know, like we've already expressed it. I like to, I do reflect on a lot of things. And so he and I had this conversation about very similar type of thing, where I was telling him about like some edits. Do you listen to Austin Mills?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has some really dope edits recently that he's been putting out, and a lot of them are like of old stuff, right? And when I found them, I was like, man, these are dope. And I was kind of like running around, like telling all my DJ homies, like, yo, have you checked this out? Like, this is tight, blah, blah, right? And so I went up to him and I was like, hey, like, check this out. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, I mean, it's cool. And I was like, kind of like, it's weird. Like, why are you not enthused? Like, this is awesome.
Every
like, this
song he has is cool.
You know, like, you know, but even I was trying to figure it out. Like, you know, why would he not be as like enthused as I am? And so me just being like direct, I was like, what's up, man? Like, you don't fuck with this? Like, I called him out, you know? And he's like, no, I mean, it's cool. It's just like, I don't know where I would play it. And just because of that, like, I mean, I get it to some extent. Like, if it's just too far left field, I mean, I've talked about this with you a little bit, but if something's too left field, then yeah, I get it. Like, it's kind of impractical, like, if you're not in that scene ever, you know? But his stuff is not too out there, you know? I didn't think it was. It was like, it'd be like, for those of you who are not like familiar with it, make sure you go check it out. He has some really great stuff. But let's just say, I know he has a Sade remix that he has. Yeah.
He's a Burna Boy one.
Burna Boy. But so these are familiar artists, you know? It's not like he's doing some like random ass artist and a remix on it, you know?
Yeah.
Because then it couldn't be relatable. Like a Sade could like be like in a lounge set. You know what I mean? Or like his remix is like a housey like lounge. So that definitely like works with that.
Right.
You know? The Burna Boy is hot. Also easily incorporated into a reggae type of set, you know, if you or Afrobeat type of set if you wanted to incorporate that. You know? So to me, I was like, you can definitely use this, you know?
Right.
And I don't know if it was like jadedness or whatever, but he's kind of like, he's like, well, I already have like remixes. And it's like, yeah, but that's not to say that you can't get more. And
it's interesting that you say that, because that means that the way he's listening to it is only based off of if I can DJ it. Right? Because you were just showing it to him like, hey, look, check this out. This is cool. Yeah. He's like, oh, but I don't know if I can play that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of guilty of that as well. Like whenever I listen to stuff, I'm listening like that. Like I'm listening like, could I play this?
And DJ,
you know, I'm not saying that's only the way that I listen to, but that is a lot of the way that really has like influence under the way that I think. You know, like, can I play this? Where would I use it? Blah blah blah. But you know, like I said, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's like because of the fact that I liked it, I'll make room for it. You know, like I'll make it fit somewhere because it's tight.
I think that's actually part of a DJ's job, right? To make it palatable and make it tight for someone else to be like, yo, this is cool. Yeah. You know, because a lot of people don't listen to music unless the DJ is playing it. And, you know, so many people go out and listen to music. Friday night, DJ is playing. Right. And a DJ's job is to somewhat, you know, expose you to new music.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, you know, it's like, yeah, like I really like what you said, like, you know, fleshing it out like that and talking about it, making it palatable, and that it's not lost, but it's definitely a lot more rare.
It is a lot more rare. I think it's because, we as DJs, I think, want to get booked. So we play what gets you booked.
But that, and we've talked about this too, but like you having those edits and you weaving into things like that really showcases you. Also, like, gets people familiar with your unique sound. Like, all of that ties in and helps you step out from like just the every average DJ.
Yeah.
All this playing the same shit.
Yeah, it's. I'm happy that you say it's unique. Because I really just it's none of it's my music.
Yeah.
It's all artists that I find on SoundCloud or other DJs that I know that make edits. So it's really not me. I'm just putting on other people that it's their stuff.
Yeah, but there's still a lot to be said about that. And like I said, I do want to dive into that conversation. But before that too, I was just gonna add, we've already fleshed this out numerous times. I think DJs in general is that everybody has access to the same thing, and you could have the same track list that I have. We could literally have the same top 10. We could literally have the same 10 songs, but I'm gonna play them in my way, and you're gonna play them in your way. And that that's how that also like helps make it unique. Okay, so where are you from? And like let's hear about like your background as to like DJing and getting involved in it all.
Yeah, so I'm from the Bay Area, Marin County, suburb area, very suburb actually. I was like one of the two brown kids in like my whole middle school and like elementary school.
What was like the other like predominant?
It's all
race?
white.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so I grew up in that area. DJing, music is not like a huge thing in my family. My parents listen to music, but no one is part of like a band. No one plays instruments. So DJing kind of came like naturally to me. Like I never saw anyone DJing. It's just like what I've always liked. I think it came from my middle school days. In middle school you had only CDs, and I didn't want to flip through 10 CDs because I would only listen to like one or two songs from that artist, right? And I'm like, all right, cool, now I gotta change the CD. So my dad bought me this CD burner where you could burn CDs from one CD to the other one. So I would just like make these mixtapes that like would be like, cool, I want 2 songs from like this like NERD one, and I want this song from Eclipse, and I would just make these mixes kind of like, and I had a binder full like 30 mixes of just like stuff that I'd make. So I think I've always had that instilled in me, Do
you have some of those still?
You know what? They just got stolen from me.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. That's like the one. I had my bike in the back seat, and they went in for the bike, and they stole all my CDs too.
Who the fuck steals CDs, bro?
Yeah,
wait, what? This is like recently?
This is
yeah, you
like
said
2 years ago.
who the fuck is stealing CDs, bro? Like
I know, right? Yeah, so they stole all my CDs, like all my childhood CDs, everything. I still had every single one of them.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, steal the bike, bro. Leave the CDs.
Yeah, take the
Come
bike,
on.
yeah.
You don't be fucking playing those.
Where are you going to play them now? Like, no one plays them.
What a dick. I've seen my homegirl, real quick, she sent me like a picture recently where it was like, she sent me an old like Memorex CD where it said like old shit.
Yeah,
I put like fucking DJ Wally on it.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. I was like, what's on that? And she started sending me like snippets of what's on it. And I was just shaking my head because it said like old shit, but it was like fucking like drop it like it's hot and shit. And I was like, bro, this ain't old.
Yeah, I know, right? You still play that.
Like fucking guy.
Yeah, so that's what I would do. I would just make all these mixes and just, have them for my personal use. Sometimes give them some friends and make them mixes. And then after high school, I just went to this graduation party. And there was a DJ there. And for some reason, I stopped like being involved in the party and was like only with the DJ. I even helped him pack up his things at the end of the night. And I was like, cool. And he was DJing off of CDs. Like he had the old CDJ 400s. So you had to know what was on those CDs. I'm like, oh, cool. I can get my old CDs and DJ with them.
So you were just naturally drawn to the DJ? Like,
I think so. Yeah. I just naturally like.
Did you know him or anything? Or like?
No, I had no idea who he was. Yeah. So I just like kind of kept in contact with him. Anytime he had an event or that I knew someone needed a DJ, I'd hit him up. And I just like kind of built that relationship.
Is it older guy, younger guy?
He was a little older than me, yeah. I went home and I was like, cool, like I want to DJ. So the only thing I get my hands on was a virtual DJ software. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I would DJ off of virtual DJ for a long time. I would make mixes on there, and eventually I was like, you know what? Like,
you're scratching with the little...
yeah, scratching with the mouse and then blending with the mouse. I actually got pretty good at the keyboard like commands because I was like, that's all I was doing. Like that was like my version of like producers being on like Fruity Loops, you know, when I first started. And then just naturally was like, you know what? I want to get some turntables. So I got some turntables, just went on Craigslist, bought some.
Where'd you get the money for this?
I was working, you know, this is after high school.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah. So I was working. I was like,
I know I got to keep people like in the time because sometimes it just like flies by. So I got to like, you know, add like a little timeline to this little scenario.
Yeah. So I was working at Costco at the time. And so I just bought some turntables. I had no idea even what Serato was when I bought the turntables. So I just bought turntables. I bought a couple records. You know,
mixer?
It was an American DJ 3-channel mixer. I've never seen one since then.
No, 3-channel.
Yeah, right. 3-channel American DJ mixer. And I actually collateraled that for a whole terabyte of music. Yeah, someone on Craigslist was like, yo, like, I'll take your mixer, but I'll give you like music. And that's when like Serato came. I found out what Serato was. I'm like, yeah, I'll take that.
Okay, so like initially you had turntables, you had this mixer.
Yeah.
Right?
I actually have a mix on YouTube. If you go on YouTube, there's a mix of me like 10 years ago DJing on only vinyl. Yeah. So if you want to go check that out.
Yeah, I might have to check that out. That'd be kind of cool to see, right?
There's like the first mix I ever made. I called it like DJ Alezay Practice in the Garage. And it's just me DJing on vinyl.
So who taught you this process? The DJ friend of yours?
No, this is just like on my own. Like, you know, I
self-taught.
Like, self-taught. Yeah, I just like spent hours.
He never taught you anything.
Nothing. Yeah, everything.
And you like wrote, but you pretty much roadied for him, right?
I what?
Did you like help him with his gear and shit?
I would help him with like booking stuff, right? Like if someone needed a DJ.
But you didn't help him like unpack. And,
no.
That? Okay.
Just like if I happened to be at the event, I would do that, right?
Course,
but I wouldn't go with him to events to go do that.
Why not? Like, was there any?
You know what? I don't know why not. Yeah. I should have done that.
I'm, you know, just curious because I know that's a common route that gets traveled.
Right.
Is that you know a DJ, kind of latch on, help him in exchange for like him teaching you things, or even if they don't, a lot of DJs wouldn't even teach. They would just be like, yeah, it's cool, you can help me, and then it was up to you to fucking pay attention to what the fuck was going on.
Right.
Like, what is this person doing?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Well, actually, he still DJs. Shout out Jay Fresco.
Hey.
He DJs over at Buddha on Saturdays in San Francisco.
Shout out
Jay Fresco. Yeah. So yeah, from me like, you know, self-taught on my vinyl. Then I, you know, found out what Serato was, and that changed like everything. You know, like everything is like from there. Just, you know, practicing on it, YouTube videos.
And how old are you?
20 years old.
Okay, you're 20 when you get your hands on Serato and shit.
20 years old.
Okay.
So I'm 30 now. So I've been doing it for like 10 years.
They had no idea. I thought you were like 27.
Everyone tells me that. Yeah.
I'm right behind you though. 28.
Yeah. I mean, it don't matter.
Yeah.
It's just age, just a number. But
age ain't nothing but. All right, let me stop. Somebody to sample that shit. I'm gonna hear that next time I get in a battle or some three-style battle. Someone's like, look at this fucking guy, DJ White.
But yeah, ever since that, like I said, I never really DJ'd for like with the intention of DJing for people, like I told you.
Oh yeah. So like, let's go to that.
Yeah, so I got Serato strictly for myself to do what I was doing back in middle school, which was getting all these songs that I liked and making mixes.
So I mean, I know you mentioned NRD, but like in the beginning, like what kind of music were you like really dabbling with when you had these vinyls, like hip hop?
It was all hip hop stuff. You know, whatever I can get like my hands on, like for cheap, because you know records aren't cheap. Yeah. So I'd go to like Rasputin's, get like, you know, $1 vinyls, and they'd mainly be like singles. And actually, most of the songs that you hear on that mix that I recorded is all the vinyl I had. Yeah.
How long is you said like a 10-minute?
Yeah, it's like a 10-15 minute long mix. You know, I didn't have like I had like 10 vinyls. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so strictly like I would make my Serato mixes, even for myself or for people that I knew, but never with the intention of like, hey, let me go get paid for this. I'm not like, I didn't want to go out and be in front of people and DJ.
Right.
Like, actually.
And why was that?
Like,
are you? I mean, because you seem pretty extroverted. I don't know. Do you consider yourself introverted or like?
I consider myself a little introverted.
Oh, okay.
Everyone tells me that I'm like extroverted, but I think I'm like a little more introverted.
So you think that is that why or like
internally? Yeah, I think I was like, like I don't want to be in front of all these people, control the music, because essentially, like as a DJ, like you curate the whole everything,
You do.
Without the DJ, the party's like.
I really like to get that little poll, bro. Like I kind of almost ask every DJ that's on here I ask them like, what are you like? Are you more like external or internal? And bro, I swear it always makes me laugh that like I think the majority of DJs that have been on here or that I've encountered they always say that they're internal.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind because I'm so like I'm out there, bro. Like I'm external as fuck, and like. At first I didn't get it. I'm like, I don't get how you can be the center of attention, but you don't like attention,
Yeah.
In essence, that's kind of what's going on, right?
Like that is actually the only time I feel okay with being the center of attention when I'm DJing.
Yeah.
And essentially it's like, I think I'm not saying much, but I'm like expressing like a little bit how I feel.
Yeah.
So it's like a way for me to also like, I think it's healthy to express how you feel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that was a form of me doing that.
For sure. Definitely.
Yeah. So I think one day one of my friends was just like, hey, I'm throwing a party. Do you want to DJ? And I had no equipment. I was like, yo, like I'll do it. So I went to this like local like DJ store. I bought speakers. I bought like a whole like stand, the truss, lights, everything, because I was like, cool, like if they're gonna pay me, some of this money is gonna go towards the gear.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not really spending all this money.
Right. This is like an investment kind of.
Right. Yeah. So, so I did that. First gig, someone from the party was like, yo, this music's not loud enough. I'm going to turn the speaker up. So they went behind my speaker and blew my speaker out my very first gig.
What an asshole, bro.
Yeah. I was like, yo, don't touch my stuff, and he just turned it up.
What size are these? Like what?
They were
15,
12-inch Mackies.
And then like they felt it. How many was this? Like a huge event?
It was like a small, like it was in a restaurant actually. They rented out the restaurant. It wasn't that big, but
I was just trying to like that should be pretty loud. Like those, I'm familiar with those speakers. Like that should have been pretty loud,
I mean, so to be honest, I don't know if it's like the sound card inside that mixer I had, or what. But just like they wanted it loud.
No, but you're saying it wasn't like
it was
that loud?
Pretty loud, but I was redlining the entire gig. Like my speakers were on red.
It blows him out on the first day.
Yeah, I blew my speaker on the first day.
That's fucked up, man. Talk about some horror, and it's funny because I've been wanting to kind of like get some horror stories on here, and that's definitely one. That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
So actually, I have another horror story.
Wait. Before like put a pin in that one real quick.
Put a pin in that one.
So this happens. This happens like end of party, beginning of party. Like,
end of party. Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened the following day? Like, did you take the shits back or what? Like,
I actually kept them. Like I just recently got rid of them like a year ago.
But you didn't try to like.
Because I was like, I'll fix them. But yeah, luckily my friend who threw the party was like, yo, my bad, like I'll buy you some new speakers. So they were so nice to get me another pair.
They really did?
Yes.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, both horror stories, I'm really lucky that they compensated me.
Should we get to the next one now or should we wait?
We can do it real quick.
Okay.
So I did a gig. At the end of the gig, I'm unpacking, I'm taking stuff down to the car.
Right.
But I tell my friend, like, yo, stay at the car because it's late. It's nighttime. We're in Vallejo. And I go back to get my last thing. I come back. Everything is gone. All my equipment is gone. Someone saw my door open. They stole everything. My laptop, my mixer.
In a matter of how long?
Matter of 3 minutes. But I think, what it was? It was these guys at the party. No one knew who they were. So they were like, just came and crashed the party. As soon as the party was over, they were gone. No one knows where they went. So we think it was them. they took everything in a matter of 3 minutes.
Keep this close to you, buddy. Yeah, there you go.
And
there you go.
Yeah, so I come back, everything's stolen. My laptop, my mixer, my Serato box. The only thing that left was my speakers because it was too big for them to carry. Yeah, but because that happened, the people that I did the party for, they gave me some money to like kind of get that back. But you know, I essentially had to start from zero again. You know, all my music was gone. You know, I had to get a new laptop. Yeah, get a new Serato box, everything.
And so that's also in part why like I wanted to hear the horror stories because like one, they're usually a good laugh, and it's you know, fortunately, like you're here today, you're obviously still DJing, so it's not like where it just broke you, right? But like it's a learning lesson as well. You know, like the whole speaker thing, like you learn from then on, like, yo, ain't nobody touching my shit except me. Right. You know what I mean? Like that's a learning experience. Like that thing that you're talking about, I've definitely heard of that happening. And that's why I always make it a point to, like my mixer and stuff like that is usually my last pieces to go in. Or if they're the first pieces to go in, they go. My backpack, as soon as I finish a gig, is the first thing that I do. Like as soon as I finish my set or whatever, I always pack that up and make sure it's all complete so that everything's in there. And if I am gonna take that into the car, I put it in like the inside of my truck and I lock my truck, and then I'll go get everything else. You know, and my controller is the same way. Like usually if I bring my controller, then I'll bring that with it as well. You know, because it's not the same thing like you're saying, like the big shit isn't, for the most part, isn't going to go anywhere. Right. But that little shit that could walk away, that's the shit where like I always kind of make it a point to do that. And it's funny I have a couple horror stories too. I don't know if I've talked about them on the podcast, probably, but I know one of them I definitely haven't, but okay, so the quick one that I'll go over is that I had someone spill a beer on my computer, and it's fucked up because I was DJ. It's always kind of like the things that you're doing like out of the kindness of your heart. Like always, someone just that like
gig that I got all my stuff stolen. Yeah, I did it for free.
Someone just like kicks you and is like, "Hey, bitch, you want to do shit for free? Yeah, fuck you. Like, you can't be doing this shit for free." I don't know. It's crazy, but I was doing my homie's going to the army. So I was doing his going away party. I was like, yo, you're my boy. I'm not gonna see you for like a year. Like, yo, like this is the least I could do, you know? And I was doing his party, and bro, like within like maybe an hour and a half or so, these people came up. I think I have talked about this, but these people came up that I knew, like they're acquaintances in high school, and they have their beer, and my laptop's here. I definitely haven't done it with the visual, so there's at least like it adds a visual to it. As a reminder, for those of you who don't know, the show is now being on YouTube as From Behind the Booth. So if you want to watch it, that's fine. Okay, so back to the story. I have my laptop here, right? These people come up in front of me. They bring their beer, and it's over here. And I'm like, whoa. And I'm kind of like paying attention to this. I'm still a kid, you know, so I didn't have that assertiveness to be like, get the fuck out of here. You know, I didn't have that. And they're like fumbling. They'll have their beer cups over. They both have their cups over my laptop, and they're like, hey, who do you love more? Like for whatever reason, they were just like my friends, whatever. And I was like, I love whoever gets his shit away from my laptop immediately right now, you know. And then like they're like, no, you gotta pick. And as they're doing that, like somebody like cups clash, and a big old chunk of splash of beer just flies out, hits my computer. I don't even know what they're saying at this point. I'm just looking at my computer, and it's cool for a second. The screen goes white. Out. No. Like a light. Dog, shit goes out, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then they're looking at me like kind of like, did that just what happened just happen? And I'm like, what the fuck? And my homies behind me, and then they're kind of like, they want to walk away. You know,
now they want to walk away.
I don't know what to do. I'm like, I was a kid at this time frame. So I was probably like 19, 20 maybe also. And I was like, what the fuck? And my shit goes out, and my homie comes up. He's like, yo, what happened? Like, where's the music? And I was like, bro, they fucking spilled beer on my shit. My shit's out. It's done. Like the party's on. I'm done, bro. Right. And I knew them. I knew both of them, but they were like high school buddies. I didn't know them closely. So I hit up, the one who spilled it was a girl. Okay. And my homie even witnessed behind me, and this again, I wasn't drinking. I this is before I was drinking, so I was completely sober. Like I knew what the fuck happened,
Right.
who spilled their beer on my shit, and I called her out on it the next day, like on Facebook. I was like, hey, like, you spilled beer on my computer, like, how do you plan on helping me or whatever? And she was dodging me, bro. Like she wouldn't. It was like left unread, and she just was not like paying attention to it. And so, like, regardless, I was like, I got to take it into the store. I got to see what the damage is and shit, right? So I took it into Apple. And this is the early days of Apple, so they were actually pretty cool. And, like, I had Apple Care, and they're like, well, Apple Care doesn't cover, like, property damage. Like, it's like software shit. I was like, fuck. Like, so then what am I looking at here, right? And they were like, honestly, because it's water damage, like, we pretty much have to replace just shy of the whole computer because we don't know what's wrong. We don't want to plug something in and risk it getting damaged by the other thing, right? So they're like, so it'll cost you about $750. And like, dude, this is when the early days, like a MacBook Pro was like $1,200. So like five of a brand new computer. And like I said, I was 20, so I was like, I'm not gonna fucking just dish that out again, like brand new ass computer. So I was like, fuck, man. And then the guy's like, you know what though, like, you seem like a good dude, and we understand that accidents happen. So how would you like it if we fix it for free? And I was like, fuck, like on the brink. I was like on the brink of crying, bro. Like I need this computer. And I mean, it was my school computer too. I was in college, so I was like, yo, I need this shit.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, so they ended up fixing it for free. And then I think I like put on Facebook like, oh, like, I figured it all out. Like, thank goodness for Apple, blah, blah, right? Guess who hit me up?
Oh.
Homegirl hit me up. She's like, hey, so sorry about the other night. Like, are you all good?
Now, yeah, I'm good.
Because she fucking seen that shit got taken care of.
Yeah, that's not cool. Take responsibility, y'all.
Dude, I mean, I know it was definitely like, it would have been a big like.
Were you more worried about your music on there? Or what was it?
Oh, so I actually didn't get to mention that. Yeah. So
that's all I cared about is my music.
2 weeks prior, I backed it up.
Good, yeah.
I had just bought my external, and I backed it up 2 weeks prior.
Yeah.
I had everything like completely like, a shy of 2 weeks.
Yeah, which is nothing.
Nothing in comparison, right? So yeah, I had my full like library like complete. I still have that external drive. It's like something's broken on it, but I've been meaning to like kind of get it, like look into there because I know it has a bunch of old photos and shit.
Right, yeah.
But I still have that the original of like my first computer. I still have that kind of like backed up.
Oh, good, yeah. Yeah, we're talking about like digital hoarding. Like we have music. I have like a whole 2 terabytes of music that I don't even go through. Like
on your computer right now?
Not my computer, but remember I told you I traded that mixer?
Oh yeah.
For the terabyte of music.
Yeah.
I never have gone through all of it, but I think we have more than we need.
Definitely. That's something that always like gets talked about whenever I talk to DJs out and about. We talk about the music, and even when we have students at Scratch, like we always encourage them to start fresh. Like don't do that. Don't not. And I've done it too, but not to point a finger, but don't get someone's terabyte, 2 terabytes, just dump it on your computer.
Yeah.
Because you're just an ocean of shit that you don't know what the fuck it is, right?
And that's really important now as a DJ. Like, you have to know your music.
Yeah, and it's the whole, like, importance of quality over quantity. Like, I'd rather you have 100 songs that you know front and back and you could rock the shit out of than 1,000 that you have no idea what they are.
And I think that comes back from like, back in the day with actually shopping for records, right? Like you took the time to find them, which is why like, a lot of the DJs were dope back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and now it's just a dime a dozen. You can just, with downloading being so easy, it's like, why not? But then like, when you're actually, especially with record pulls, it's like, why not? Like it doesn't matter to me.
They make it so easy.
Yeah. It doesn't matter to me, but if the shit was $20 a record and you had like there was no way around it, you were like getting your money's worth for a record that you were dropping $20. They're like, like what's the longevity? What's the lifespan of this record? Like, is this shit only gonna hit for a month? Because if it is, I'll just fucking borrow it from my homie like on our off nights or some shit.
Yeah.
You know, but like if I see this like living on forever, I'll bite the bullet and pay the $20 and
Right.
it's
Hold on, that's
I
yours.
have it too, yeah, for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I think we got a little sidetracked, but going back to like my DJing, how I kind of like started this whole thing. So I did that. My first gig blew out. And I think from there, like I kind of saw it as like a thing, like, you know, maybe I can make some money off of this, right? And, you know, I never had that intention, but, you know, why not? If I like doing this already and then people want me to do it and they don't know no one else, you know, I could do it for you.
Oh, and actually, when you did that though, how did you feel about that? Like, do you remember feeling like good, like when you're out there doing it for people? Did it feel like a good feeling, or were you still kind of like trying to get your finger on it?
From what I remember, like
I know it is a while. I don't know. I know if I could remember the very time I started.
Right. Yeah. From what I remember,
The feeling.
It was like, you know, friends. So like they were all dancing. So it felt good, you know, like, yo, like I can create this for people. Right. Because without me, like, you know, who knows what they'd be doing.
Right.
I think just having like a DJ there is kind of like a live performer, right? Like, you know, you see a band playing, like, you know, people kind of interact a little differently than if it was just like music playing in the background.
True.
Yeah. So from there, I think I was just like, like maybe I can, you know, make this a thing. And, you know, from there to where I'm at now, like I've probably done any type of party you could think of, you know, birthdays, corporate events, like private parties, quinceañeras, weddings, everything you probably in between you can name.
Right.
But right now where I'm at with my radio show, I think it's like the most myself I've ever been as far as DJing.
So, I know, don't worry, we got time, but I want to, so you were doing those gigs, you're in San Francisco. When did you make the jump over here? Because you live in LA now, or you live in Hollywood?
Hollywood, yeah, specifically. Yeah. So, after I graduated college, you know, I think that's when you kind of figure out, like, what do I want to do, right?
And with college, I always like to touch on this. What did you major in?
Computer engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did that. But
did you do anything like music related? Like,
I used
in that time frame.
So I don't know if you know the company Amazing Lights. They're like the people who like do the gloving at the festivals.
No, I don't.
But have you seen anyone like do?
Yeah, I've seen glovers. Yeah,
glovers.
Sure, yeah.
So I actually used to program the lights on those gloves for this company. They're actually in Anaheim. So I came out here and was like working with them for a little bit.
And you did so from like San Francisco, and after finishing college, then you made that move down here because of that?
Well, I was actually there a year before graduating, so I was like interning there.
Okay.
I went back and did my last year, and even with that being like the experience I had as engineering, right? I was like, yo, this is probably like the coolest thing I could do in engineering, you know, being like in a music industry that does stuff for like, you know, festivals.
Right.
And it's somewhat engineering, but still in the music, right?
Right.
But it still wasn't like what I like my calling, I guess, right? Like I didn't like love being there, you know. So I knew when I graduated, I was like, yo, that's not like what I want to do.
Right.
And then I was telling you that I went to the school called Icon Collective.
Oh yeah.
So that's actually what initially brought me here to LA.
Oh, okay.
I was like, yo, I want to, you know, take my DJing to the next level. You know, I don't want to just be the DJ who DJs music. I want to like produce my own stuff, make my own edits, and, you know, take my DJing a little more seriously. So that's what brought me out here. And then I didn't end up finishing the school, but I learned enough what I needed to learn to like get where I'm at now.
What year did you start there?
2017. Yeah. Okay. And I left I think 2017 too. Maybe 2018, yeah. So it's been a little bit more than a year and a half that I've been like away from that.
Yeah. And
but I've stayed here because LA has like changed me. Like we're talking about, like, you know, with their personal health, you know, like I'm able to do the things that I want to do here as far as like my health, right? And then like my music, and I think like my overall like, you know, self-care, I've been able to like.
So yeah, you know, actually this is great because we didn't touch on this really. So you showed me a picture earlier of you when you were big. How big were you?
35 pounds heavier than what I'm at now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you didn't look anything what you look like right now.
No, nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
didn't even think I looked like that
So-
until I see pictures.
just to express to everyone, and it's, I know if you're just listening audibly, like it might be kind of like, well, I don't get it. Like he was only 30 pounds more. Like that's not a big deal, right? But if you guys watch this, or if you get to see Alezay, like he looks like a fit guy, and the photo that he showed me, is him like obese, like he's fat.
Yeah.
He's really like really big, and his face looks really big, and you know, even though he's only 30 pounds now, I'm sure that there's a lot of trade-off, as we were talking about, like muscle weighs more than fat, and so he's definitely like, he's solid, and he's not like, it's not like a bunch of like weight that he's carrying. And so, you know, so to a lot of people, I don't think that 30 pounds really sounds like that much, but you know, in exchange of what the whole process was, where you lost all that weight as far as like the fat goes, and then maybe you built it back up, or you just swapped it out, like
For muscle.
the fat for muscle. Yeah, exactly. Which is why, you know, so how let's talk about that a little bit. You know, I love to like, you know, dive in some broader views than just like the DJ stuff whenever we can. So let's talk about that. Like, were you always big?
I've always been big, like since I was born. I was actually born 12 and a half pounds.
Oh,
Almost like 13 pounds when I came out the womb.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I looked like I was like, yeah.
Poor mama.
Yeah, I looked like I was like a 3-month-old baby as soon as I came out.
Damn.
So I've always been big on the
Came out
heavy
a whole
side.
ass hog.
Yeah, I think like in 5th grade I was already like 100 pounds.
Damn.
You know? So weight has always been like something that I've like, I just felt like I was fat forever, you know?
Right.
So I never thought I could get to where I'm at now.
For sure. That's a trip.
Yeah. So, and I was in sports like in high school, which I lost a little bit of weight in like my freshman year playing football, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I brought it back, you know, with college and just like not caring.
Yeah. And so let's say, all right, so like in high school, what do you think your weight was?
Like actually where I'm at now, like 170.
Okay, 170. And then at your biggest, you were like
200.
200.
Yeah.
Okay. And that extra 30 pounds, like, what do you accredit that to? Like, and if you can, like, try to be as transparent as possible. Like, you know, if it is just a solely like food thing, that's, you know, that's what it is. But
no, it's a whole lifestyle, to be honest.
You know, I don't know if there was like depression going on during that time frame, or like.
No, I think it's just like being in college and, you know, when you're in school, I don't know, for me at least, right? I like didn't have time for anything but school. So eating was even like not a concern for me. Like I would just get the quickest thing I could get. And the quickest thing you can get is not the healthiest thing you can get. Right.
Often.
Yeah, often, right?
Right.
So that's actually like, I think what put me on all that weight. But then, like I was telling you, once I moved here, my whole, I think, shift in like, you know, how I perceive things and just my whole like a spiritual journey that I've had being here, like figuring myself out, you know, being away from my family and just being away from like my friends where I grew up. Like it's a completely new area. I had to like figure it out, right? Being here, like, and I'm here now with you, right? I had to just figure it out.
Right.
And while in that process, I like figured out my health was like something I cared about, you know? I went on this thing like of, I guess, minimalism, right? I just try to get rid of things that didn't bring joy into my life and really try to focus on the things that I cared about.
And what was there a reason behind this? Like why, like was there any like an urgency?
No reason. It, like me and my girlfriends actually just watched that movie Minimalism on Netflix. And I think we just resonated with it so much that we're like, yo, we need to do this. Like we need to get rid of the things we don't need. And I think I used to just hold on to everything that just because I, you know, grew up thinking like, yo, I worked for that, I need to keep it, right? Or my parents were like, yo, that wasn't cheap, take care of it, right? So anything you owned, you held on to forever. But necessarily, it didn't mean it added value to your life, right?
Yeah.
So I just bring that mentality in anything I do, right?
Yeah.
Like with relationships, like, you know, the ones that really are meaningful, like, you know, I try to keep them and maintain them. With my health, like that's something that I care about. So I like maintain that. I try to eat healthy. I go do yoga like pretty often, like 3 times a week. So like I said, it's just more of self-care, which is why I love being here.
Yeah, it's good. And I
Yeah.
mean, it definitely shows, man. Like I said, I seen that picture and I had no fucking idea, you know?
Yeah, a lot of people are like, "Why are you in LA? You know, what's LA doing for you? You know?" But
Yeah.
it's just like I love where I'm at. I love the relationships I built. You know, if I wasn't here, like I wouldn't be here with you.
Yeah, true. But I definitely don't doubt that you wouldn't be. I think you'd be fucking. What should I say? Like succeeding, you know, anywhere that you would be.
Yeah.
I think, or like thriving, you know. I think you could, you know, not to say that you
It just
could,
happened to
for
be
sure.
here, right?
Yeah, exactly. So now you have a little bit more like, you know, love for it, for sure.
Yeah.
Tight, man. So I think that like that got us all caught up, and now like it really. So now let's really get into this whole like when you started your podcast, like what made you want to start the podcast, you know? Like what was that like that push that made you want to get to it?
Well, I was telling you, like I had a whole lot of this music that I had on my computer. Actually, a lot of it. Shout out to DJ Basic. You know, he actually, when I was DJing in the Bay Area, he makes all these crazy edits. I love all this, anything he puts out. So from his edits, I just started like, you know, discovering a new part of the DJ world, right? You know, like DJing is not just like, you know, some guy up there blending two songs. Right now there's like someone, you know, making edits. And specifically like we were talking about like the whole Moombahton, like global bass, tropical bass, like it's a whole different, like I guess genre music, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of different realms.
There's a bunch of different realms. What it is just like taking stuff that's like familiar to you and like kind of adding bass, making it knock, making it for the club.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think you can kind of feel that in my podcast. You know, like a lot of the stuff is stuff that's familiar, might be familiar to you or might not be, but I try to make it familiar to you.
Yeah.
So I just started discovering all this music.
Right.
This, you know, there is a community like of people that like kind of make this music.
Right.
So I just like started hoarding all that music.
Right.
And had nowhere to play it, you know. And I think that's where I like started drifting from like doing events or like, you know, corporate stuff or like, you know, bars to the radio show where I'm at now. And I think like me being able to do that has like made me like enjoy DJing a little more. I don't say that DJing like kind of got boring for me,
right?
But it was just like, you know, it wasn't like fun like how it is now, as fun how it is now. You know, I mean, it's always been fun, right? I've always liked it, but I think like it got fun, and then it just was like, I think school was a lot of it too. Like I didn't pay enough attention to DJing. Yeah, like it was just like school. But now that I'm out of it, and like I can put all my energy into DJing.
Well, you know, it's like we kind of touched on too, but it's like just making sure that you keep things fresh, you know, like, which is why I didn't actually get to mention that, but I think that Alezay's episode was probably the fastest seeming episodes that I've experienced. And we said that, well, after I told him that, he's like, yeah, it'd probably be because like you're familiar with all this, but you aren't, like, you know, like maybe the acapella, but you don't know the beat, you know? And so like the whole time I was sitting there and I was just like having a blast, and like I said, it was just flying by. Like when he was at 30 minutes, I was like, like fuck, the ride's over. Yeah. You know, and I was just like, I was in heaven. Like, you know, it's just, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like it's just really the fact that it's just really fresh, and it's nice. I can appreciate that, especially like I talk about this a lot about on the podcast, but like as a DJ, we play the same type of shit every weekend, so that's why niche parties really stand out to me. You know, like if it's all R&B or if it's all Motown or it's all dance hall, like those really stand out to me because those are my like getaways. You know, like I know I can go to this bar and just hear like kind of the regular shit, but I like going to those niche spots because the niche spots play like nothing but. And because of that, like time span, like you got to get creative because there's only so much, you know? So like, and then people are coming, if they're coming every week, then you got to keep it fresh. That DJ knows their responsibility to keep it fresh too. So like, let's just say like after 4 weeks you're tired of hearing ushers you don't have to call the same way.
Yeah.
Like, how can this be cooler?
Actually, up until now, every single episode that I play on my mixed radio show has been different. I've maybe repeated like a handful of songs, but every week is new music that I find.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I like going to those niche parties, because I understand that, and I know that, like, I know I'm going to hear a lot of the same stuff, but it's that stuff where they're taking that extra time to find that I probably wouldn't find because I'm just in the regular shit, like in the regular archives. And then they've been here so much that they're like, I need to edit to this. Like I said, you don't have to call. Like, I need a cool edit because I'm tired of playing the regular one. And then that's the one that DJ did the homework for. But I know that that's cool, and I could utilize it in my set too. And and then just it gets spread around. And that's why I really like listening to your show, because there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff in there that might not be usable for me, but for one, I'll say that like his ear is like super keen. Like he has a great ear, and the mixes flow. Even though he has a lot of stuff in there, it all flows very, very seamlessly. And like I said, I'm looking for tools, and that is just like it's like a plethora of stuff for me. It's like I said, it's not stuff that I can use. Like, every song is not something that I can use, but even if it's a 40-minute mix and I get 2 tracks from it, that means a lot. That means a lot to me, to someone like me especially, like, because like I have my archives because of how I am. Like, I've built like deep archives, and I have like, I don't know, I have a lot of like, if I had 70s, I have a lot of 70s, I have 80s, I have a lot of that stuff. But I can play all that stuff, whatever, like that's no problem to me. But the edits is what makes you unique. So, something like that where, this is essentially, this guy's doing the work for you. Like, he's curating it, and because I trust his ear, like I trust this curated set when I listen to it, and I know that I'm gonna find something out of it, and that's like to each his own. Like, maybe there's only 2 tracks for me, but someone who's more like in that type of like that music style that you promote, like my homie Junior that I was telling you about. Shout out to Jtron, I miss you, bro. I hope you still listening. You guys are gonna get in touch for sure. But I know for a fact that I'm saying maybe like 2 tracks that I could see myself playing from that set.
But that's fine though. Like, my goal is to even get you to like 1 track,
But I'll say like him, he could be like, he'd probably be like, yo, the whole episode's fire. Like, I need all the tracks, you know. And he puts them up. Like, he puts a track list up. And I like I said, that part is dope. And I do want to ask too, real fast though. Like, so what was the like initial? Was there any like initial push, or you just kind of just got a folder so big they're like, you know what, like, I know what I'll do. I'll just create a show.
I actually, before I started the radio show, I started doing like monthly mixes, and actually, even when I started doing that, I was like, man, this is a lot. Like one a month. Like before that, I wouldn't even do any mixes, right? So I kind of took it as like a challenge. Like, I wanted to challenge myself to do one every single week, and I think I just like challenging myself as far as like in anything I do, right?
Well, with the month ones, is this when you started? Like,
no,
technically,
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I still had them all under DJ Alezay. I had no idea that I was gonna make Estereos Unidos.
Okay.
I just like knew that I needed, because what happened was a lot of people ask, when you're DJ, oh, what do you play?
Yeah.
That's a very common question.
For sure.
Hey, what do you play? And I think, you almost have to have like your elevator pitch, like, oh, I play this, I play that. I play
You do.
that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like that, right? And instead, I could be like, hey, let me show you what I play. I could have you listen to what I play now. Instead of me trying to explain it to you, because it's kind of hard to explain what I play, right? It's a little bit of all over the place. It's just like stuff that makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of explaining to you, I was like, you know what? Let me just start making mixes and show you what I play.
Right.
Yeah. And I think I took that as an advantage. Like, yo, like instead of me telling you, here, play it.
Right.
You know?
And then you, so then what was like the like kickstart to the show?
The kickstart to the show was, I think I was like very inspired by like, you know, I think like Selection, like having like a radio show. And like, I think Joe K is amazing at what he does and, you know, exposing people to music. And I love the idea of like, you know, putting people on to music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a DJ, I was telling you, like, you know, part of it is to show people like, hey, check out the song,
mm-hmm.
and making it palatable for people to like.
Mm-hmm.
So I think because I couldn't play it anywhere else,
mm-hmm.
and I love the idea of sharing music, like I just kind of put the two and two together. Like, let me just do this my own way,
right.
through a radio show.
Right. And so like the very first episode, like how was that experience doing it?
Very first episode, I remember I took so long. It took me like probably like the full, maybe 2 days worth, like of just, you know, trying to figure out how I wanted to curate it.
Yeah.
Like when I wanted to talk, you know, before that I had never been on a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just like exhibiting, like showing it to you, like showcasing you, this is how I want you to do it. And I think when it's your first one, you know, you want it to be perfect. You want it to be the best one.
Of course.
And I think that's the case with anything that we do, right? We want the very first thing we do to be like, you know, that's it, you know, that's the one.
Yeah.
And even to this day, like all my mixes, like they're not the one. Maybe like I got hit or miss, but I think what's important for me is that I know that I'm putting time and energy. I have consistency going on, and I'm sharing like cool music.
When you say like not the one, what do you mean? Like it's not.
Like sometimes I like, you know, like I curate it to where I think it's like I like it, and sometimes I do it like, you know, that day of, right, like Friday morning. Oh, I need a mix, you know, and I feel like I do it too fast. But that's just my personal take on it. Maybe the one that I do way too fast might be your favorite one, you know?
For sure.
Just for me, like sometimes like, oh, I could have done it better. But I think we all have that, right? I could have done this better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have any complaints. I would, you know, I would definitely let you know, like, oh, I think that blah blah this would be cool. But no, I mean, I definitely, I like to
let the music speak for itself too.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you know, so it's for those of you guys that haven't heard the episode, make sure to check it out. And then, I mean, it's pretty much a straight mix. He says like he talks like maybe
like
a minute's worth, like in total. Like you do like a 30-second like intro and like a 30-second like
outro.
Peace out.
Yeah, peace out. Yeah.
You know, just shy of that. So, you know, if you guys are ever interested in that, like I highly recommend it. I can't like express it enough. Let's talk about, because like I said, this is an art. How do you find the tracks? How do you create this show?
So SoundCloud is my go-to. That's what I'm on every day, and I just like dig on there as much as I can. Now SoundCloud has like a kind of, I guess, algorithm where it'll play you similar tracks to what you've heard before. So now every now and then I'll do that, right? But sometimes I'll just like go back to like some of the older stuff and look for like similar artists to that. But I'll probably go through like 100 songs just to get like 10 songs, you know? Like I'm always listening, and I really just go based off of my ear, like what makes me feel good.
Right.
It might be like something that's hot at the moment too, and I just get an edit of that.
Right.
But a lot of it is just based off of feeling, like how I feel when I hear the song, right?
What is your regimen? Like, are you doing something daily where you're doing at least an hour of digging a day, or like
yeah,
what kind of like
probably
regimen?
more than that.
What kind of regimen are you on?
Anytime, I don't have a car, so I'm always walking everywhere. Anytime you see me, I got my AirPods on, always on SoundCloud. And that's a constant, just like searching for it, you know.
And when you're like, are you head down, or you're kind of just letting it go through the tracks and you're kind of listening for like shit that you would play? You get what I'm saying?
I think a
like,
lot of
you're
it,
right there fucking
Yeah, no. I'm not going through it. I let them play. If I don't like it, next track. And most of the time I like to hear them out. You know, I always hear them out before I play them. So like I'll like make a playlist on my SoundCloud.
Right.
I make them all private, so you can't see what I'm saving.
Right.
But I make them all private, so when I'm ready to make the mix, I'll just go back and I'll listen to everything that I put in that playlist, and then I'll pick the ones that I want for that week. Yeah. So it's like a little bit of a process where like I'm just digging. If I like it, I'll put it into that week's playlist. Before that, I make the mix. I'll go back and listen to that playlist, and then. You know.
So do you have like a big archive that you just pick from, but you're constantly like on the build for? You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Like, so this is the way I kind of understood that, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong. So, from what it seems like is that you kind of like all week you'll be building, so the playlist might be like, let's say 100 tracks by the end of the week, right? And then out of that thing you pluck, let's just say like
20.
You pluck 20, right? And so that 80 carries over to the following week, but you're still building like that.
Sometimes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sometimes it'll build to the following week, yeah. You know, sometimes I just find enough for that week, you know, but sometimes I'll have a lot and I'll just carry it over for the following week.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, that makes more sense to me. You know what I mean? Because like I said, when you're talking about it, I'm like, dude, like I know that's a lot of work, but if you find a lot, then that's cool that they kind of like roll over.
Well, yeah, what happens sometimes I'll get like busy one week. I'm not listening to a whole lot of music, so I'll just use whatever I found the week before.
That's what I'm saying. That's dope. That's dope. And that's why it seems a lot more practical. Because like I said, when you know, from one DJ to another, and anyone else who's out there who does that, like getting tracks is definitely like
it's a lot of time.
It's a mission, and even with record pools supplying you, I'm not even downloading that much. Like I'm downloading maybe like tops like 10 a week. You know, like I'm not downloading that much tracks.
But you're getting what they give you too. Like they'll give you the top 10 of what everyone's downloading.
Yeah,
top downloads.
Well, I'm saying even like no, because I mean I'll still sift through the bullshit. Like whatever their top fucking 10 list, like I'll listen to it, but I'm like, nah, this ain't my top 10. You know what I mean? So I'll listen to it just because like that's also my like responsibility as a DJ to stay current, you know. But I'll still go through and kind of sift through like hey, what's going on this week, and see if there's anything cool that I missed. But it's definitely a different, like I said, it's a different art form to do what you do, like through SoundCloud for sure.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm not out DJing anymore, like at clubs or like any events. I'm able to focus on that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because
if I had to do both, you know, I'd have to do more music because, you know, the music I play on there is not what's going to be played.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I understand that too, like where it's a little disheartening, but I don't let it like bring me down a lot. But, you know, like some people will ask me like about a rock song, and I was like, oh, I don't have time for rock songs. Like I need to listen to what's hot, you know, like, you know, if I can't play it, like I not saying that I don't have time for it, but you know, it's like I'm a lot less inclined to be like looking for that type of stuff because I need it's enough to stay on top of the current shit. And as I was just telling you, and actually I'm glad that this is coming up. So for those who do not follow my stories closely, shame on you. No, I'm just playing. But I recently expressed the importance of TikTok. So if you guys haven't been paying attention to my stories, I did a middle school dance on Friday, and at the middle school dance I was playing all this, like I was just kind of going through the motions, playing like the top 40 shit, right? And the kids were like, they were having fun, but I've done enough middle schools to know like when it's really popping off and when it's kind of like whatever, mediocre. And so I knew that it was kind of like whatever, like it wasn't going that great. And you know, I was like, man, what do I like? I was really kind of racking my brain. Mind you, I will confess that I didn't prep because I just was like, man, it's gonna be a walk in the park. I don't need to prep for this shit. But you know, I should have. I'll take full responsibility for that. Like I say that I should have. I could have and I should have. But anyways, the kids started to come up to me like once they kind of felt like, you know, they were like, yo, the DJ's not doing exactly what we want. Then they start coming up to me and they're like, "Hey, can you play a song from TikTok?" And I was
What does
like,
that
"What?"
mean?
Like that's not an artist. That's not a specific track. Like, what song from TikTok? Like, there's so many songs. And I was telling Alezay that fortunately, about a month ago, I was listening to Gary Vee, as I do, and he was talking about the importance of TikTok and like saying that you need to get familiar with it, blah blah. You know, kind of just like a lot of people do. They didn't really take him that seriously, and I didn't really that much either. But I was like, you know what, like. I like to listen to this guy on the regular. Like, it makes sense for me to at least like try to do what he's doing, you know? And so I downloaded TikTok, and for the past couple weeks, I was kind of like trying to figure it out. Like, what is this shit? Like, I don't get it. It's like just like Vine on steroids, you know? Like,
I still can't figure it out.
shit don't really
Yeah, I've tried
matter,
it. Yeah.
right? But luckily, I did pay attention to that for a while, and then I started to get familiar with it. And now, like, not to brag or anything, but I got a video up there. I got a video up, and this shit has like 34,000 views. I'm like, yo,
Damn.
low key, like your boy might be going viral sometime soon. But even before that video, I found a song on there, and I was like, oh, this song's pretty cool. Like I could fuck with this song, and like all the little kids on TikTok are singing it. It's this song called Roxanne, and so then I downloaded it. I was like, you know what? This is actually pretty cool. Like I could cut to it. So I did like a little cut routine video to it. Okay. So back to the TikTok story. I grabbed that video, or I grabbed the song Roxanne, and I start like cutting to it, right? And I was like, cool. I put a little video out on Instagram. Anyways, the kids were asking me for a TikTok song, and I was like, fuck, like I don't know what the fuck's on TikTok. Like not that, because I hadn't been. Like, I've been checking it out, but not, like, that invested where I could give you a playlist of songs that are from there, you know? That's like someone coming up to you and be like, hey, can you play a song from Instagram? Like, bitch, you know how many songs there are on Instagram? Like, what do you mean a song from Instagram, right? But anyways, fortunately, I got that song, and I was like, oh, you know what? I just got that song. Like, I have a clean version, so I think I could play it. Fuck it, I'll try it. Let's see how it goes.
Where'd you find that song?
It was on a record pool.
On a record pool.
Yeah. And sure enough, as soon as I played it, the kids were going nuts. Like they were just going crazy, and it was the equivalent to like Old Town Road. Like Old Town Road when it was hot for the kids, that was an Old Town Road like equivalent, like as far as magnitude goes. So that was a straight up wake up call. It's like holy shit, like this is something that I need to pay attention to. And you know, like I said, like after that, I uploaded like 3 videos since, and I'm definitely like more conscious, and like now I'm thinking of like content that can go on TikTok because it could be the next Instagram.
I mean, aside from that, you were saying like, you know, you didn't even bother to look into it because you're like, I mean, I don't care about that. Like I already find my music elsewhere, right? Like maybe like what I'm trying to do is, you know, with my radio shows, maybe be like the TikTok, right? It's a go-to to go find new music. You know, TikTok's a spot to find music for the middle school kids, right?
Right.
Like maybe just my stuff might be like the stuff to find for yourself, right?
Or the cool shit. Like your shit is cool shit, but you know, like cool shit doesn't always have an avenue. You know, sadly, like cool shit doesn't. We don't get to play cool shit, quote unquote cool shit at the clubs. You know what I mean? It's just not happening that much. But there are certain spots where you do get to play the cool shit, like.
I mean, there are spots in LA that do play similar stuff to like what I play.
Yeah. But I'm saying like it's more like niche, you know. But like
very niche. Yeah, you
like,
have to know about it.
Like your shit, bro. I could totally say it, and I mean, for me, this. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but so do-over is a huge part of that. I always talk about. I love the do-over. I'm a like super like advocate, right? I've been going for a long time. I want to play there. But man, like honestly, if I'm being completely honest, like I could kind of see you playing there before me because of how unique your sound
Setting
is.
the vibe, you know?
Because of how unique your sound is. Like, I'm cool. I'm good. I definitely like give myself credit. But I know I could rock the party if I played it there, but you would bring a specific vibe. And that's like that's that's kind of hard. That's like something that you really work on, and that's something that you create. And with the do-over, like I feel like every DJ that they put on is like a significant kind of vibe setter. I guess I will say the vibe that I could do is like a cool ass like sample type of like opening ish set. I think that that would be my ideal. Like if I did it, that's how I would do it. You know, like whoever's seen my episode on here, the set that I do on here is something that I would probably play like for the do over and like very sample based and kind of like just warming it up. Like I don't think I'd be like I wouldn't want to be really the prime time spot where like I'm supposed to straight crush it.
Right.
But to like set the vibe and kind of just like be like a opener, like one or two DJ, that would be tight. And I think you could easily be like the one right before the like headliner, because like it's a very unique sound. It's something that everybody could get loose with. It's something that
I mean,
you don't gotta know it. You can just, you could bob to the beat and be fucking having a great time.
I mean, that's like my favorite thing of like, I think being the DJ and like the setting, right? Like I like to create that like backyard, like, or like house party type of vibe, something that everyone can enjoy. It's not just like, let's go to the club, like type of music, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it's very like, I like to think it's well-rounded. Yeah.
You know what? Now that I'm like fleshing this out though, so if the do-over ain't banging on your door, I will open up this avenue and say that I told everybody this year that I wanted to have my own party.
I remember that the first day that I met you, Walter, the very first day I met you at the club, we went to go see Mike. Shout out Mike Sincere.
Shout out Mike Sincere.
The very first day, you're like, yo, I want to throw my party. I have this like vision. I got this idea and I want to do my own party. And you're like, kind of like the do-over, but like my own style, right?
Yeah.
And that's till this day, like you're still talking about it.
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
Yeah, let's get it done. That's what it really needs about it too. Like, yeah, that's great. You're fucking still talking about it. You ain't doing shit. But no, I definitely do. And like now that I'm speaking out loud about it, like it's cool. Like this could work.
This could work.
Like we could do something. We could definitely get something going, and it would be.
And I think it would be very well rounded with like what you play and what I play. Like it kind of like, the full spectrum of music.
Yeah, it would, and it'd be dope. And yeah, I think that's a really good look. And like I said, since the do-over doesn't seem to be banging on your door, and I just had this fucking brilliant idea, I think that yeah, next year
2020.
when we set this shit up, it'll be me and this guy, and we'll try to fill in the blanks as to the other people. But I think that would be a real fucking good deal.
Yeah,
a good
I'm
ass party.
Totally on board. Like, why not make something with people that like I think are doing dope shit? I honestly think what you got going on right here is like some of the dopest like knowledge that's been dropped from other DJs. Like I've listened to mostly all the episodes, and I do think that what you have adds a lot of value. And if you can, bring the music, out of here, and I think it's just like adds more value to people.
For sure. I mean, yeah, I'm very, communal. Like that's what the whole point of this is. And I know people that know that, and I know people that know me know that, and that's kind of the beauty of it too. That I think that I definitely, if I did an event that's kind of been long overdue, is I think that
should be the name of the party. Long overdue, not the do-over. Long overdue.
Shit. We brainstorming right here. That's copyright infringement. Oh, none of y'all take that shit.
Yeah.
Maybe. Wow, that'd be kind of funny. How like
the long overdue.
And it is like a little low key jab at the do-over. Like, I mean, not even that. Like, it could be even like, what is it? Like, not commemorating, but commendable kind of thing. Like, like a little like tip of the hat to the do-over. Like, we're not copying your name, but long overdue. That's funny. That's something to think about. Fuck, that's tight though. Oh yeah, but what I was saying is that a lot of people know me for being very communal, and so I think that if I did that and I did my own event, it would be easy to get people there because people appreciate what I do and how I'm helping the community, and a lot of people are like, I have a lot of people that surprisingly, shout out to, I haven't done this shout out, so shout out to my boy Mike Flowtron. If you're watching this or listening to this, shout out to you. I have a lot of people that are not DJs, and that's actually why I gave the shout out to him specifically because he actually does like videography.
Oh, cool.
But and he does like movies and like all kinds of shit. And I met him at this conference, but yeah, like I only see him like once a year, but it's always like we never turn the page. Like we just kind of just, yo, what's good with you, man? Like how's everything? Blah blah. Like we chat, you know.
I think you bring that. I think with anyone, like the way your personality is, you know, doesn't matter like how long it's been. The moment they see you, they're like, yo, what's up, Wally? Like let's.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, and it's like that definitely between him and I, and he's like, oh, like I've been listening to your podcast, and I was like, dude, I honestly, I'm like even like thinking about it, I was like about to cry. I was like, you listen, and he's like, no, for real, like I really do listen, and I mean, I always give everybody the benefit of doubt, but he showed me his phone, like, hey, check it out, and you know how like the whole like top like Spotify thing that you listen to, he's like, hey, check it out, like I was right there, like
number one podcast,
like yeah, like I was right there, and he showed me like that he listened to all the episodes, like dude, that's so awesome, and like I said, he's not even a DJ, but he well, for one, he likes everything we talk about, also that we dive into other stuff that's not like DJ related, but also has a lot to do with entrepreneurship, you know.
And I think as DJs, you know, we all are kind of entrepreneurs.
Yeah, definitely. And everybody that's on here, like, you can take something away from them and apply it in your life. You know, like, for instance, like, someone could hear that you're searching for tracks on the daily and totally be like, fuck, like, I thought I was doing a lot and I ain't doing shit. Like, look at this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm complaining about doing a mix every 2 weeks. Fucker's doing a new mix every week with tracks that you don't even repeat. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of this stuff is eye-opening, you know? And also, you know, like I said, you could take a gem from it. Like, something that you do can be applied to your everyday life.
Yeah.
Man, but I really like the sounds of that party.
I know. I'm digging that. I think the like vision that you had in the moment you told me about it, like I knew like, oh, this is someone that like I know like we vibe together. Like from the get, real talk, you know. Yeah. We just like met each other. I remember my girlfriend got mad too that day. She was like, "Man, you forgot about me." You know, he was just talking to that guy the whole night.
It's funny because I wanted to ask you like, you know, like like I said, I like to think about things, and I was wondering on the flip side, like I wonder, like was I too much? You know, like too much too fast. You know, because yeah, I definitely felt the vibe, you know, right away too. And, oh yeah, but wait, go ahead and like.
Well, just saying, like, cause like I completely forgot about her, and we were talking for a minute. You know, we were talking about the party. I can't remember what else we talked about, but we talked about a lot of things.
And like I said, dude, I'm very considerate. So even though we were talking a lot, in the back of my head, I was looking at you in all shapes and form, like any cues of like, okay,
I gotta go. Yeah,
like you're good, like. Boy, bye. You know, like I'm looking for that. I read that, bro. Like I'm not one to talk to someone, and if they're just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like if I get like that's crazy. If I get that twice in a row, I'm like, all right, bro. Like you're checked out. That's fine. I'm not taking it personal, but I'm gonna go now.
Which is cool, you know. Like that said, like you're not meant to be best friends with everyone you meet, right? Like, and I think you're supposed to.
Wait, we're besties?
Yeah, as of today. Yeah, but real talk, you know, I think a lot of people like sometimes go out and they're like, oh, like, you know, I tried talking to people, but it wasn't me, you know. But I think, you know, you're not gonna find everyone that like is compatible with you, but we just happen to find that.
Right. That's funny that your girl said that.
Yeah.
Well, fuck, I was gonna say something too.
I can't believe we talked about the party that day too. Going back and thinking about that.
Fuck, I forgot what else. I was gonna say something.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We should just start brainstorming that party.
I know. No, but wow, man, I totally. Damn it. I forgot
Yeah.
what I was going to say. I had something too. But,
That's okay. We move on.
yeah.
What were we talking about before?
We're just talking about like, I'm like reflecting on like kind of everything. Oh, I know what I wanted to bring up though. I wanted to bring up something from this guy that I listened to recently. His name is Jay Shetty, and there was a question or something that was very applicable to what we were talking about.
Oh yeah.
No, but I didn't tell you this.
Okay.
I didn't tell you. This is a podcast guy that I listened to.
Yeah. I'm familiar with him.
And he recently put out some things that were talking about like these questions about skipping small talk, how small talk is pretty much useless, and it's so much more useful to dive like straight into things and get right to it rather than like talk about
Like
the
when you meet
weather and
people.
hey, how is everything, and like if you can bypass all that, it'd be so much more beneficial to you.
I do think that's very true because I think a lot of people by default they say, how's the weather?
Yeah.
You know, that's just like what is like a go-to.
Yeah, in communication, we talk about it as being like social currency. So it's like certain, like pretty much, if you thought of like things to talk about as like money, it's like what could you barter with someone, and it's like what money do I have in common with you, and like weather would be a common thing that we could talk about. Like I know we could talk about that, but I think the beauty of it with DJing is like you can dive into music like pretty fast, and
Very
that's
quick.
kind of it's deeper than like
I think that's just what
shallow
I think that's just
conversation.
what music does in general. Like music till this day like has allowed me to do things that I've never would have thought I would have done,
Definitely.
Like, being even like I was go back to being here, right? But doing music has allowed me to build these relationships with people that I never would have thought I would have had. And I think music is, something special, because it allows you to do that. And which is why I think want to build a community around what I do, and, just being able to share everything besides the music, right? The music just happens to be like the starting point. You
Yeah.
start there, you talk about it, and then it just, rolls over to everything.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to talk to you about. I know. I got it, everybody. I got it. So, in his questions, one of his like questions to ask someone to like dive deeper into your relationship, and it is these questions also like create like vulnerability. So like when it's vulnerable, like you're creating like a more intimate relationship with someone rather than the superficial shit that everybody knows, right? So one of the questions was, what do you find most attractive about someone, right? And how much of that attraction do you see in yourself?
Okay.
Right? So I'll let you go ahead and like think about that, right? But I thought about it and I was like, fuck, like what would mine be? And I really thought about it and I really tried to like boil down to it. And I hope this doesn't sound cliche, but I think that like my best answer is energy. I truly think that is the most attractive thing to me about someone, and that that's not like it has to be an intimate fucking thing. Like I'm not saying just because, well, whatever, but I'm just saying that energy is most attractive to me. So when I meet somebody, if I feel like there's a lot of energy there, and that's like in whatever way, shape, or form, like good energy, like
Right.
if I feel that energy, that's very attractive to me, and I'll like get called to that, and usually like explore that feeling. So, hey, what's your name? Like you come here a lot. What do you like to do? Like
So
what
the responses on the energy.
that and like also like that's what I'm saying, like energy will be the initial attractant. Like let's just say like I'm dancing and you're dancing and it's cool, like hey, this guy has a cool vibe, and then that's the initial attraction, and then I explore that attraction, like maybe there's more here, like you were a DJ, you know what I mean, like you're homies with Mike, like
Right.
boom, like the energy, like I just started exploring, and that like like then that created like our initial like connection. But you know, some people like, I don't know, like his example was humility. Like humility is the most attractive thing to him. Like I think he was raised with monks or something like that, where he
Mm-hmm.
had like a session with monks or something like that. And so like one of their most practiced things was like humility. And that's what he finds like most attractive whenever he talks to someone, is that's like the like when he finds that he has common ground with somebody, or he'll want to talk to them a little bit more because he realizes like that they have a lot of humility.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes him curious to like, why do you have so much? And like,
I
you
think
know,
I think I actually like Gary Vee a lot, aside from everything else. But he talks a lot about empathy. You know, being very empathetic towards yourself, and I think towards others. And I think when you have like compassion for yourself, you're able to like, you know, see that in others, right? Because I think a lot of us are too hard on ourselves. You know, we don't think we can do things, you know, whether they say, like, I've heard like, whether you can't or you can, you're right. You know, if you tell yourself you can't, you're right. If you tell yourself you can, then you're right also, you know. It's being able to have compassion for yourself and knowing that you can do things. And I think when someone else is like that, it allows, like, you know, I think the energy to be flowed easier, right? Because I think when you have compassion, like, I think because I had that, and then you like energy, I think it just allowed the energy to flow very easily between us.
yeah. And you know, like, some people, I'm like I said, I'm very like, I'm open like that. I'm extroverted like that. So that comes off fast, and sometimes it's too fast for people, you know. But I'm like, yo, that's me. Like,
That's funny though, because I'm like that when I go out, you know. Aside from like being in that environment, like I'm very introverted. But when I'm out, like, you know, with music and there's a DJ there, and like I'm very extroverted, I like to be out.
yeah,
I've even had people tell me like, "Yo, I like your energy. Like, you know, let me get your number. Like, let's kick it."
yeah, yeah, man. I think that so I know I'm putting you on the spot, but like, do you think that, like, what do you think is yours? Or you're saying the empathy is yours?
I think so. Like, you know, I think that's why I relate a lot to that, and I think taking a lot of yoga classes, like, you know, you learn a lot about yourself, and I think that's one of the things that I do like, you know, is empathy and compassion.
It's a interesting question, right?
A very interesting question. Yeah.
I like it. I really liked it, man. There's a couple other ones, you know, but that one in particular, it really made me like reflect, and I was like, what would mine be? You know?
I'm gonna have to probably think about it more and then give you another answer if it's different. But at the
I
moment,
think that's a great answer.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really think that that's a great answer. Like I would have never thought that at all. Not for me, you know, and it, like to me, mine, I was indifferent about mine because I feel like mine is kind of like a cop out. Like I felt like it's just too broad. Like, yeah, everybody fucking likes energy, you know, but like, I mean, that's just my best way of explaining it. Like maybe it could be defined better, but I think it's because, like I said, I'm considerate. I think it's like everything as a whole, and how that energy is like harnessed, and how it will like affect how it affects me. You get me? So that's why for me it's better to just say it like that than like I can't put one word on it. You know
maybe
what I mean?
it's the best way to explain it because everyone can relate to energy. So maybe it's not like a cop out. I think it's just like the right way to say it. Yeah.
Fair. I like that, bro.
Yeah. I like that question. I'm gonna make that like my conversation starter now.
It's you know, like another one on there is like have you ever been to jail? And that's kind of a funny one, but it's like, you know, what they're saying is a lot of times is that, you know, you might hear something where someone's vulnerable, like they'll tell you some real shit, or, you know, the other times just like a funny story. It's like, man, yeah, I've been locked up once and I was fucking pissing in public. I got drunk in Vegas, you know, like, you know,
Right.
like it might just be some wild ass story, but then that's a lot deeper than how's the weather, how's your week, you know, that's
Yeah.
super.
And I
like,
think, you know, I think that's what we want from people, right? We want to have like connections with people. Like we don't want to just have small talk.
Right.
You know, because we could have the same small talk with everyone, but I think what we really crave for as like humans is that connection.
And the point of that episode too was he was explaining how the people that have, on average, they have more meaningful and like deeper conversations are happier. You know, and it makes sense because you truly know a bunch of people rather than like I see so and so every week, but all I ask him is like, how his week been and did he watch the game? Like, you don't know shit about that person.
Yeah, I've seen something like that where like they say like, how many people like could you call in your phone book right now to like get you out of some deep shit, right? Like how many people could you really honestly call right now and they'll be down like right now, right? And I think the more people that are down for you like that, the more you like, I don't remember how they put it, but the more like friends you really have, like actual friends, like that like, really care.
And you know, it's like it's good for your mental, like to know that you're grounded like that. Like imagine only having one person, that person dies, and God forbid, but that person dies, and you're like, fuck, like if something happens to me, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like nobody's got my back.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a scary feeling. But if you genuinely like thought it, like when you said that question and I thought about it for a second, I was like, man, you know, I'm not even being like big headed or anything, but I genuinely feel like I'm like, I got a lot. Like I got a shitload. I could fucking fall back and a bunch of homies would catch me, you know, because like you said, like I definitely create that deeper deeper connection than just keeping it very superficial, you know.
And if you do have that, make sure that you let them know that, right? Because a lot of the times, like now they say like, yo, like if you love someone, let them know now because you know it's gonna be too late one day, right?
Yeah.
So like, and I think that's what builds that.
Yeah. And like again, I think it goes back to me giving people credit when I think it's due, and that creates that little like deeper thing of connection. You know what I mean? Like if I see anybody, bro, anybody that I follow, or even like, you know, I see somebody doing something tight, I'm like, yo, this is tight, and I always make it a thing. And like even like at gigs when people are DJing and stuff, if I can stay after, I'll stay after. You know, matter of fact, like I went to this party like 3 weeks ago, and it was like nothing but a house set. Like, and I don't really listen to house like that, but I can appreciate it, right? But it was a vibe in there. Like it was straight. Like it felt like I've been to like a warehouse parties, and like it felt like a warehouse party, but it was like not a warehouse one. It was like straight up club vibe, right? And not to discredit the DJ, but the DJ wasn't like, you know, air quotes here, people for those who are not watching, but not big. You know, he was just like a average guy, and but he was going in, and as soon as he finished, I was like, yo, bro, like I don't really listen to this. I'm not gonna lie, but you had it a certain way, and like, yo, you're a master at your craft. Like you handled that shit, and you know, good shit. And I'd like to follow you on Instagram, you know. And I followed him, and he's like, bro, like he said thank you that night, but then the next day I kind of like just reminded him. I was like, hey man, like you know, I was the guy last night that you know, told you thank you. I just wanted to say thank you again, and like I said, good shit, man. Hopefully I see you around or something like that, right? And he's like, yo, like I really appreciate that, bro. Like I know I was a little like buzzed last night or whatever, or like he had people that he was entertaining, but he's like, no, like I really do appreciate that. And then he followed back, you know, like not to say that he has to, but
you know, when you showed love, it got reciprocated, right?
Yeah.
And if you never did, you know,
and again, it created that like, even though maybe I'm thinking of it too much, but I you know, I think they created a little bit more like sincereness between that bond, rather than like, hey man, good shit, like, and then fucking rolling out, and then maybe I follow him, you know. But like I made it apparent like who I am, like, yo, I was the guy from last night, like, and you know, like I appreciate what you did. It was tight, you know.
Yeah, and all you're doing is just showing like that you like and liked it. That's it. You know, you weren't going out of your way. You're like, yo, good shit. Yeah. Like it wasn't too much for me to ask.
Yeah, nah. It was cool, man. And I'm actually waiting. I was in this. I want to speak on this just because it kind of got brought up, but I won't say the whole thing. But with that whole like follow back thing, you know, recently a friend of mine posted a video on it, and like I don't want to butcher it, but I'll like kind of paraphrase, but he was saying like how people take it to heart when people don't follow back, right? But what he kind of said, and like I wish I had the exact words that he said, but he pretty much says is that people follow back when they feel like you're gonna provide. Like the reason that you follow someone, typically, other than your friend, is because they're providing something for you.
Right.
So entertainment, maybe they're providing memes, maybe they're like Gary Vee and they're dropping all these gems, right? Like that's why outside of your friends and family, that's why you start to follow people after.
Well, I think it's important that, you follow people that you want to follow, right? Because if you don't curate that feed, right, it could be a lot of stuff that you really don't want to look at, and then
it's bad for your mental.
It's bad for your mental, yeah,
for sure.
So if you know how to curate and you're following what you really care about, like the things that add value to you,
right,
like you're gonna enjoy it more.
And then to finish my statement, it's like people taking it to heart when people do not follow back, but you got to understand, like, what are you providing? Like you're following this person because you're thriving off their energy, right? But if this person follows you back and you start to get into their energy, like what is it that you're providing? Like what kind of content are you putting?
Yeah.
It's not to say that your shit's boring or whatever, but the only reason you're following this person is because they're providing. And if you're not providing for them, then they don't really have a necessity or like obligation to follow you back. And like I said, I'm paraphrasing because my friend had it like pretty good, like word wise. But yeah, like that's something that I wanted to express, and maybe that'll help someone, to remind somebody to not get like a hurt ego when you meet somebody and they don't follow back. And it might be like a eye opener, like to reflect on your content. Like, what am I providing that would make this person want to follow me?
And I think like that's what I think social media should kind of be used for. Like, how do I add value, right?
Yeah.
Not how do I make this about me, but how can I add value to you? Like, what can you get from me? Because if you're just making it about yourself and you're not adding value, like, what's the point of it, right?
Well, because some people are they're takers. Like they just want, and they never think about providing. So I forgot there was a bug like metaphor where they're saying like that these people were caterpillars, like the ones that just take, they're like caterpillars, like they just consume, like they don't ever provide, and I wish I remember what the other bug was that fucking provided, but I'm not even gonna try to butcher that. But yeah, it's that same kind of thing. Like some people just want to just eat shit up, like they just want to take and never like dish stuff out too,
And I think like when you are able to provide and you like know that you are providing, like it just, I don't know how to put it. Like, I think like, that it's not just about you, right? Yeah. Like, that, when you help others, like there's a purpose for it.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I think that's good. I think that's we went a lot of avenues, and we definitely fleshed out a lot of ideas. Is there anything that you'd like to like add in particular? Is there anything that sometimes people come in here with like something that they wanted to express specifically? Was there anything in particular? Before we,
I mean, if you can, listen to some of my episodes.
Well, I was gonna do that anyways. Like,
Okay, cool.
Whenever I conclude this, I always ask like, but I was saying like, so whenever I conclude this, I always ask for anybody, like, if anybody who like what they heard today, like, how could they help you? Then how would someone do that if they wanted to support you in any way?
I mean, first by listening to the mixes, but I think by engaging in them, like give me that feedback, let's have a conversation about the music, the songs you liked.
Nice.
And I think it just makes room for like an inclusive community, right? Like I just want to build something, a community around it.
And go ahead and kind of give like the whole like give everybody like a pitch. I mean, I know we just kind of did it, but like verbalize it as far as like a pitch as to what it is, like how to find it. What are the things that you kind of include? Like, do you include a track list? Like, give them everything.
So I got a website, estereosunidos.com, but also you can listen to the mixes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud. Include a track list every week, and the purpose of it is for you to, find the tracks that you like on there, play them out, whatever it is, support them because, ideally I want to support the artists that I'm playing on here because, I want to expose them to new people, new audiences, because I feel like if I'm helping someone grow, that's just really what I feel like my purpose is, right?
Yeah. And go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I was gonna add, I forgot that I wanted to say this, but with the music that you play, man, you've now became like one of my like must see or like go to events. Like I want to go to an event where this is played because hopefully there will be like-minded people there.
Yeah. That's exactly what I want to do.
So that's, I mean, and then, if that's not too soon, then we will provide that space, apparently. You and I.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're putting it out there. But and I want that because, if people are giving me a feedback loop of what they're listening to, what they like, I only have 2 sets of ears, right? Or 1 set of ears.
Yeah.
And, I might learn something from you too, from you listening, right? You're like, oh, cool, I like your music, but check this out. Mm-hmm. So it helps me, if, we build that community.
Yep. That camaraderie, I feel that. All right, and then is there any other like social medias that you want to put out, maybe your Instagram or anything like that before we?
Yeah. On Instagram, my personal one is DJ Alezay, DJALEZAY, and then my radio show is Estereos Unidos. That's for pretty much everything, but Instagram's like the one thing I use. And if someone wants to give me some tips on social media, wants to maybe come on board and work on some social media, I'm all for it.
Tight, man. This is a great episode. I mean, honestly, I like I always say, I love every episode, but definitely a great one, and I'm glad that we finally got to get to it.
Happy.
And
I'm ready for round 2.
Right, and I'm looking very forward to the things to come. You are more than likely, guys, to see us working on some shit.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Thanks,
we done.
man.
From behind the booth. Peace out.
Peace.